Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be making a quick video on 5 things you're probably forgetting to maintain on your car. And I'll be demonstrating these things on my 2002 Acura TL Type S. So why don't we just jump right on into it. The first thing I'm going to be showing you is the battery terminals. These should be completely free of rust, any green or white corrosion or anything like that. It should be nice, bright, shiny silver, just like that. If you notice any corrosion on these terminals, you should immediately clean them off with a wire brush and a paper towel. And what you can also do is you can apply some dielectric gel such as this. These usually come with the battery, and you can also get them in a parts store. And this can prevent terminal corrosion. If they're corroded, that can cause a lot of electrical issues with the car, and should be cleaned off immediately. So that's the first thing. The next thing you're probably forgetting to do is cleaning your steering wheel. You know, your hands are always getting so dirty from everything. Maybe you eat a greasy burger, or your hands are just dirty in general, oily. Yeah, pick your nose, cough, sneeze, whatever it is, and then you go and touch your steering wheel, and that all gets on your steering wheel, and over time it can get very dirty. And so I've got a leather steering wheel, so I've got some leather cleaning products here. I like to use these. They're really gentle on leather, and even you can see my car has 313,000 miles on it, and these seats, although not perfect, but nonetheless they're not torn or ripped or anything like that. They're in very good condition, and so you should always keep up with cleaning and conditioning your leather. So we're going to use these products. So we're going to start with the pH leather cleaner. We're just going to spray some on a damp paper towel. There we go. And I'm just going to wipe it down. You can already see just from those couple passes, dirt is already coming off. And so after you've cleaned the steering wheel with your leather cleaner and worked up a good lather, you can wipe it all down with a separate paper towel. And even though that first cloth was pretty dirty, I've seen way dirtier before on other cars. And so definitely something you should do couple times a year. And so after we've wiped this down, we can then take a dry microfiber towel and we can just dry it off. After cleaning with the leather cleaner, we're gonna condition it with this Lexol leather conditioner, and this stuff smells so good, you guys. I highly recommend it. We're just gonna take a spray or two, and all we gotta do is just kind of coat the surface of the leather. So we'll just do that all the way around the steering wheel, and then we're going to let it sit for a minute or two, and then we'll wipe it dry with our microfiber again. This whole process takes less than 5 minutes, and you only got to do it a couple times a year. And as always, I recommend doing this with your leather seats too. Keep them in good condition. The next thing we're going to change is the cabin air filter. And I know there's already plenty of people out there that lack on changing the engine air filter, let alone the cabin air filter. And you spend a lot of time in your car, and these filters filter what you are breathing in. And so very important to change these. And in this car, it is located behind the glove box. So we have to remove the glove box to get to it. Not that hard. First, there are these little black tabs on the sides. You'll basically just push it in from the outside and pull it through. It's just a simple little stopper. Take those out first. After that, we just got to remove this little screw from this little damper here. Last step in removing the glove box involves removing these 2 hinge screws. There's one right there, and there's one right there. With the glove box out of the way, our cabin air filters are located behind here, so we have to remove these 2 screws to remove this plastic cover. With that cover out of the way, there's a little pull tab at the bottom here. Pull that, and this will come off like that. And here are your cabin air filters. You can already see there's a bunch of leaves in there. I know I'm definitely overdue for changing these myself. I've already got some ordered. And let's pull them out. See how bad it is. Yeah, a lot of leaves in there. They're not the worst, but definitely dirty. So recommend changing these every 30,000 miles, as well as the engine air filter. So when changing out the filters, you'll notice there's the plastic cover. This is the part that you keep, obviously, and then you'll just put your new filter in. Make sure to align the airflow arrows in the same direction. Put your new one in, and you can put the filters back in, reverse order process. Pretty easy job. Speaking of filters, the next thing most people are not replacing is the transmission oil filter. So we're going to come back under the hood again, and it's located kind of under and behind the battery. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. And there it is. You see that black round filter right there? That is the transmission oil filter, and it actually doesn't even have a service interval, but I personally recommend that you should also replace this every 30,000 miles, along with the engine air filter and cabin air filter. Most people unfortunately don't know about it, and it's an important component in keeping your transmission fluid clean and keeping your transmission running. I have a separate video on how to replace that, as it is a lengthy process. I'll post a link in the description. And so the last thing we're going to do is check our spare tire air pressure. So we're going to come in the trunk. And then our spare tire is located under this flap here. And pro tip, even though I can't do it because of the subwoofers are kind of in the way, you can take this little hook and connect it right here on your trunk, and that'll keep this entire panel up. But our spare tire is located under there. There's a little screw we gotta unscrew right in the middle, and then we can take out the spare tire. Now, some vehicles might have a full-size spare, some vehicles might have a compact spare, kind of like mine does, but if your car has a full-size spare, it'll be the same tire pressure that your normal tires are, and you can find that on the inside of your driver's side door. You got the front tire is 32, and the rear tire also 32 PSI. Otherwise, if you have a compact spare like my tire, it should say right on the tire itself, inflate to 60 PSI. So it's been maybe a year or two since I've checked my tire pressure last, so let's see where this spare tire's at. We're at about 46 PSI, so I'm just gonna fill that up, the remaining 14 PSI to 60, and that's all you need to do once every year or two. And you never know when you're gonna need your spare until you get a flat, and then you go to put it on, and there's no air pressure in there, it's completely flat, and now you're stranded on the side of the road. So once a year or two, just check this spare tire pressure and save yourself from making an already massive headache into a worse one. And so those are the 5 things that you're probably forgetting to maintain on your vehicle. And I'd also actually like to include one bonus tip, and that involves the brakes, specifically the brake caliper slider pins. And even though it's not necessarily forgotten during a brake service, and nor does it have a service interval, but it's something that I think should be done more frequently. And basically all you need to do is remove the wheel, take your caliper apart, and just take the slider pins out, re-lube them with some 3M silicone paste, and put them back in. I recommend doing that once every year or two, but it's important so your caliper can slide freely, so that way it's not always in a stuck position. Your brakes aren't wearing out faster, they're not wearing out unevenly, and ultimately your brakes will last a lot longer. In fact, I've got about 80,000 miles, if I were to guess, on this current set of rotors and pads, and there's still a little bit of life left in them. So something I would also recommend doing once a year or two if you can help it. It's a little bit of a longer process. I've got a separate video on how to do that, and I'll post a link in the description. And so, what'd you think of my list? Are these things you're forgetting as well? Let me know in the comments section, and also let me know if there's anything else that you think could be added to this list. So thanks again for watching, and take care.